The National Investor's motto is, you can get information anywhere, but here you get knowledge. And for well over 40 years now, Chris Temple has imparted that knowledge, an unparalleled, understandable, and useful take on the big picture of the markets and of our world. He has been out in front of what you see on the news every day on many themes. More, Chris has taken this macro knowledge and his unique analytical abilities to uncover unique investment opportunities. Often he has guided his members to big winners in resources, biotech stocks, and more. His talents and connections often getting him into ground floor opportunities before they are discovered. Without further ado, here is Chris with today's topic.
Today, I'm welcoming back my good friend, Dennis Calvert. Dennis is the CEO and chairman of BioLargo, which you'll find on the OTCQX here in the U.S. under the symbol BLGO. Dennis, thanks for taking a few minutes on this Labor Day weekend to give us an update.
Chris, thank you. Glad to be here. We got a lot to share, so I'm glad to have the opportunity.
Yeah, well, we'll take a quick lap around everything. First off, I want to start with the story that first got my attention some years back when you and I first met. It certainly got the government's attention late last year, and that is your division that focuses on PFAS remediation. PFAS, of course, these so-called forever chemicals that are in water and other substances all around the world. It's a multi-trillion-dollar nut in the years to come to deal with, to try and remediate all of these things. And before I get into an update, Dennis, and another announcement, it was largely your company's work on PFAS and the accomplishments that you've made that brought you to the attention of the Commerce Department late last year. And by virtue of that, you were named to the Department of Commerce's International Trade Administration's ETTAC board. That's a mouthful. Environmental Technologies Trade Advisory Committee.
Right.
And so you're charged pretty much with trying to further the fostering and export eventually of U.S. technologies on environmental remediation, right?
Yep.
Okay. So take us back to the drawing board with PFAS in the first place and give us a quick rundown of why you've built a better mousetrap to deal with this forever chemicals issue.
Yeah, we really believe we have. Okay. So it's important to start with that. We think we got a winner. It's going to be a big winner. It's slow. You have to grind through the adoption cycle, but we're landing and we're going to land in a big way. It's really very exciting. Now, it goes way back. Okay. So PFAS, forever chemicals, these are the byproducts that are associated with nonstick coatings. So it's been going on for 50 years. And if you just put PFAS in your internet search, you're going to get link after link after link. It's every day there's 5 or 6 major articles going on. Litigation's a big deal. Federal government has taken a mandate that's in the traditional sense of regulatory framework. That's the stick. The EPA has a stick, and they're saying, "Hey, you got to clean this stuff up." Legislation was passed, and so it's now part of the law that says there's certain detection limits that have to be required for reporting, especially in drinking water, plus discharge limits, and all that regulatory enforcement has been meandering, plus litigation, plus states' activity. Okay, so this is a hot topic. Now, what's interesting about that? So ETTAC, right? So ETTAC, a number of representatives from the Secretary of Commerce, Department of Commerce, saw our technology. Remember, we're doing validation work with the EPA, both state and federal. We now have our first installation, which took us an extra year or so waiting for general contractors and all this stuff to get the building built that we're putting our device in. We actually shipped that device to Lake Stockholm, New Jersey. I want to say about 8 days ago, maybe 9 days ago. I always lose a little track of time. But yeah, so it's up there being provisioned. It's about to go live. That's a big deal. That's our first commercial install. And this is a commercial account. We've been paid for that. And it was a public bid. It's also very important. And so there's all this activity, but this is a big deal. Why?
Well, but before you get into that, Dennis, I think it's important for people to remember that a lot of new technologies like this, they demonstrate their bona fides in a lab setting or controlled setting. It's another thing to commercialize it and make it, in this case, for municipal water system.
Correct.
But you're now at that step.
We are, right. So that's a big deal. Yeah, I think we've done something like 18 or 19 trials. I lose count, but they're ongoing all the time. We're always doing trials. And there's a number of different target markets where our technology can work really well. Drinking water is one of them. Drinking water is also the slowest to adopt,
Yeah.
so we get perspective. But industrial wastewater, municipal wastewater, so that's sewage, right?
Yeah.
All of this has PFAS, water, groundwater, firefighting foam water, industrial wastewater. Each of these is sort of a subset market. They all have a PFAS issue. And the punchline to that is some have very high concentrations, others have acute health risk because of chronic long-term exposure. It creates risk for your immunocompromised system. They're endocrine, they've been linked to cancer, birth defects, all this stuff. Okay. It's a very fluid, pun intended, fluid market. Okay. But what's interesting is everybody universally says, we got to get this out of the environment. I mean, that's it. That's the punchline. And
Right.
so it's a matter of time before all the regulatory bodies come together. And so I was invited to join this ETTAC on behalf of BioLargo. Of course, I have to say, my opinions are my opinions, not the opinions of the United States government.
Right.
I can't speak on behalf of the Secretary of Commerce, and we wouldn't do that anyway. But we're here to help, right? So the ETTAC, Environmental Technology Trade Advisory Committee. That's the way to think about it. Environmental Technology Trade Advisory. There's a bunch of statutory committees like ETTAC, and this is a statutory committee. So it's a 2-year appointment, and we have a meeting every month, either at the committee or subcommittee level. And in this one, I was invited to be the chairman of the Enabling Innovative Technology Subcommittee. Enabling Innovative Technology. Well, that's a good spot for us. I've
Sure.
been doing this innovation thing for almost 20 years, good and bad, suffered long, breaking through, with what we call transformative technology, things that can really make a market. And it takes you back to the thesis of our company. And one of the reasons we're there, we focus on things that transformative, great tech, highly qualified technical people, science and engineers, high impact, purpose, do something worthy, and then a capital conserving strategy. That's our platform. And we do it in multiple different markets. Okay, so I always tell the story when I was invited to join ETAC. My wife says, "Well, what do they want to hear from you?" And I'm like, "Well, it turns out we got a lot to say. You know why? Because we've been innovating in so many markets for so long that the playbook about how to innovate, how to get adoption, break through the adoption cycle into mainstream adoption, what the deals need to be, how the deals need to go, right? How to align yourself with potential partners, how to get through regulatory burden. I mean, it's a chore, okay? So
Yeah.
when you know, I'm a little biased now when I hear a young entrepreneur say, "I'm going to go impact the world." I go, holy cow, you know what you're signing up for? Because I know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and it's good that someone with your experience, Dennis, is in a position like this. Too often in government with these different agencies that are supposed to help further economic growth or whatever, you've got people who are academics that never did a day's worth of work in the private sector, and that's all you've done.
Well, they're brilliant people. I mean, so we got 40 people on that ETAC, brilliant people, really great. They're also frontline. So there's a wide variety. There's companies that are doing services, so that's solution providers. There's trade associations, right? There's also specialty like standards testing, standards companies that do third-party testing and validation work. This eclectic group, but they're all on the front line, environmental tech. Okay. And so here we come as an innovator. That means early stage innovation, high risk, high reward, early stage, small guy up against the system. Okay, that's BioLargo. And
Yeah.
so the good news is that we've got such a diverse portfolio and we got great technology and great people. Okay. And then we deploy these strategies. Well, in the ETAC, the Secretary of Commerce's agenda, remember that's an executive branch, okay?
Right.
People don't think often, but this is under the executive branch. The secretary is appointed by the president, okay? And they're there to mandate, right, with their vision of economic progress, this America First thesis, which focuses on international trade, economic development. Okay. So what's the agenda? Well, the agenda is a bunch of things: high-tech manufacturing, redomiciling, breaking the bondage of some of these supply chain barriers, economic progress, workforce creation, high tech manufacturing, net export dollars, breaking down non tariff based trade barriers to entry. Okay, that's the game. Okay. And so here we are, Largo. So what do we got? I can tell you all the things that won't work because
Yeah.
we've seen most of them. I mean, really, think about it. We just, because success in these fields is truly overcoming the failure.
Right.
You got to stay alive long enough. And it doesn't matter how smart you are, they're all hard. So, economic barrier, competitive barrier, capital barrier, regulatory barrier, barrier. That's the theme, right? How do you overcome them? That's the business. And that's what we've been doing a long time. And we're really good at it. And sometimes I always say, I'm sorry it took so long, but we're going to win. And in
Right.
PFAS, we're going to win. And so we're now at a spot where, for a relatively small investment, we've achieved extraordinary milestones. Now, it's slow. Okay. Now we're at this point where it's all bubbling up to success for us. We've got a backlog that's, backlog's not the right word. A pipeline's a better word. A
Yeah.
pipeline of opportunity. We're not going to get them all, but it's over $200 million worth of business. I mean, you got to just get perspective. And we are the cutting edge. We're the cutting edge of efficient collection, efficient destruction, reduction of the footprint of waste stream, which makes it feasible. And the thesis, remember, behind our innovation is if you can super concentrate, isolate the collection, so you don't have to deal with everything else that's in the stream of water,
Right. Right.
then you can efficiently destroy it. So we have a combination technology that's a combination of on-site collection, removal, that's where you take the collection device, which is a membrane and a module. And it's modular, and that's very important because if you want to scale, you just put more modules in.
Mhm.
How many modules can you build a building, put the modules in it, collect the PFAS, not complicated. And it works across all these different markets. And we achieve results which are astonishing. We achieve non-detection status. That means we take all of it out so much that the science can't see what's left.
Hmm.
That's beyond a level of detection. We also do it for long and short and what's called ultra short molecules. Ultra short molecules aren't even regulated yet, but they will be. Mark my words. That's a prediction.
Eventually. Yeah.
Essentially, right. And it works in all these different types of waters. Okay, so then we take the membrane back to the office or back to a central collection, and we strip the membrane, and then we put it in a big bucket, and it's a very concentrated goo. And then you essentially you bake it with electrooxidation with a little thermal activity at the contact of the electrode, and it breaks the molecule. And guess what? Then you can put it in the landfill.
Hmm.
So what we're doing is efficiently collecting. We're managing destruction in a very efficient way so that the life cycle of the forever chemical is broken. I mean, it's
Yeah.
astonishing. And so so you go out to the world and you face this obstacle. So the first obstacle is, well, who the heck are you? What do you know? I mean, really. And I'm really comfortable there, but I've been dealing with this idea of who are you? And this is too good to be true for now 20 years. And I look at it and I go, this is the way innovation is.
Sure.
So when you think that way, you're not offended. It's just like, I got it. Until people see it, they don't know. Until it's proven, they don't know. You have to, and so that's the challenge. It's
Yeah.
educating and this confidence that people come. So of course we offer performance assurance. These things are guaranteed systems. And we go, look, you pay me, we'll fix it, we'll guarantee it. It's real simple.
Yeah.
We know it works.
So now theoretically in New Jersey, this township, you're going to be operational with the full-fledged system imminently.
Oh, weeks. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, we're talking about weeks away. I don't know how
Right.
many weeks, but weeks.
Yeah.
And then,
And
yeah,
then,
because what happens is they do a provisioning,
right.
and then the state will come in, and then you'll do a testing thing, and you got to train everybody. So you're doing all that. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, in the notes along with this video, I'm going to have some more detailed information for people who want to roll up their sleeves and get into the nuances of how your system works. But suffice it to say for now, your better mousetrap has a fraction of the waste and the footprint when you're all done,
Yeah.
compared
Yeah.
to what's been in the marketplace now that does a better job at
It was
eliminating these forever
one
chemicals.
one to 40,000.
Yeah, it's crazy.
40,000. So we end up with a little beaker of contaminated goo that you then break down, and then you can put in the
Right,
landfill versus a truckload of carbon or ion exchange. Yeah.
right.
And there's a bunch of technologies that are emerging. So now go back to that ETTAC role real quick. So the idea there is my perspective on ETTAC, which is this advisory group. What we want to highlight as a BioLargo, to make recommendation on behalf of a committee. There's a whole committee thing. You got to go through sub, then you got to go committee. But the idea is that there's a whole opportunity to lead the world. That's it.
Yeah.
You can be a leader or you can be a follower. What do you want to be? Okay. And environmental tech, we believe being a leader is a good thing. Okay, it's that simple. Now, so then in order to do that, a lot of industries have things that enable innovative technology, and in a lot of environmental tech, there's a lot of regulatory enforcement, which is the stick. You need
Right.
incentive, stick, so a carrot and a stick, carrot and a stick. Okay, so that's it. We look at environmental technology and we say there's so much good tech out there to solve some of these big world challenges. And do we want to be a leader? Yeah, of course we want to be a leader, right? We can export this stuff all over the world. So
Cool.
that's the idea, okay? And so we're in a really wonderful spot. And what's new, I'll just real share with quick, is we're getting really big partners coming to the table. And we've got a bunch of partners, yeah, and partners in this deal is like teaming agreements. So we partner up with a company and say, we can
Sure.
solve this problem. We work together. They don't ask for exclusivity. It's not like that. Or we work with an engineering firm and we train them and they train us and we work together. They bring us a customer. They're an advisor. They're a consultant to a customer, and they say to the customer, ding, 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 this is a good one. That's how it works. And so
Yeah.
that's a long process. Then you got to go through budgeting and CapEx and specifying and contracts. And so it's a lot of work. But these projects, they can range from anywhere from $1 million to, $35 million. This is
Wow.
big business. Yeah. And so we're in such a wonderful position. We're also getting approached by people that have other pieces of the puzzle. They want to include our technology. So we become a component supplier to a solution provider.
Nice.
Awesome. I'm in for that because there's no way we can be the solution provider for the world. That's up to companies with 10,000 people.
Yeah.
Okay. So we partner with them. They bring in our tech. We support them with technology, knowledge to get through the adoption cycle. So our prediction is a big win. Grinding,
Hmm.
not fat, but significant, significant. And of course, what happens when you get through that process of securing your adoption position, you have standing. Well, that's what we're doing. We're building standing. Standing is credibility, confidence, trust. Takes a lifetime to get it and 10 minutes to lose it. So very cautious. Now, I'll point out to you when you study this market and you look at competition, there's been a bunch of companies that came too early, too fast, and over promised.
Hmm.
And so people get knocked down. The street's brutal. That's not us. We're not overpromising. We're methodical and slow. That goes back to this idea of super highly qualified people. When we brought in our engineering group, which goes back to 2017, who've become a hub, a center of our universe, I said to them, why do engineering companies fail? Right? They said, well, usually they sell something they didn't know what they were selling or they overpromised. I said,
Right.
I said, we'll have none of that. And so why is that important? Because we're 99.999. I mean, this is like perfection. And to do that is very difficult. But what happens is you get a reputation of that, and people come to you and say, "Would you come down here and help me with my PFAS thing?" Right? Yeah. So
Good.
it's really very exciting. And so I think we're going to see some more commercial breakthrough. We're also
Good.
going to see partnerships lined up. A lot of people want to give us money now. I'm like, because BioLargo owns 100% of this. This is important also. In our strategy, remember, we form a sub, we do a license, so that little subsidiary becomes a venture that can bring in partners, make deals. The parent company owns 100% of that today. Well, over time, I'd like to not own 100%. You know why? Because I want people to finance it.
Sure.
I want to partner. I want to create venture opportunity with that business unit that becomes a standalone joint venture with partners all over the world. I like that. That's good for BioLargo. It's good for BioLargo shareholders.
Well, once
And
upon a time, Ray Kroc, who I guess there's a new movie out with Michael Keaton who plays Ray Kroc. They talk about the story about how he got a hold of the McDonald brothers and decided to buy him out. Well, he didn't run every single restaurant. He franchised them. And that's one of the things you're doing. Hey, before we move on, I wanted to mention for folks, especially those who are in or around New York and able to make it, that you're going to be featured among other players and companies and technologies at the Gabelli Conference coming up on the 17th of September. Tell us a little bit about that.
yeah, no, it's a great event, and if people are interested, be sure and reach out. We'll see if we can get access. Happy to work on that. It's a great conference. It's a PFAS centric conference, so there's going
Right.
to be a lot of competitors there, and everyone has a story. And Gabelli is, of course, a famous investor,
Yep.
and they got research coverage, and they've already got positions in our company, which is nice. And so they like us and we like them. And we have a story that's very unusual. It's unusual in that we've advanced so far with actually so little.
Yeah.
So far with so little. That's really part of our thesis as a company. We get so much done with such, little capital, really. Because why? Well, because we've got a hub and spoke concept. We've got science and engineering surrounded with technology opportunities, and we can come in and out, a whole team of people to support. Show me a startup company with 35 engineers and 14 PhDs. Not very many.
Hmm.
Okay. And yet these innovations are like startup companies. And so we get to incubate, mature, advance with some skill. And we always want it faster. That's the negative. But rich, real, meaty, stands the test of time. It's, as we always say, the technology is not going to fail us
Right.
because we won't let it. We won't, if we don't know. Now, again, we're not perfect. We're not batting 1,000, okay? But what you'll notice when you study our portfolio is where we invest and invest and invest and stay the course, those are winners. And we've had a chance to weed through opportunities to narrow down to absolute winners. And we got a bunch of them at BioLargo.
Yeah, nice. Well, let's move on and talk about a few of the other moving parts. And again, folks, if you want to have an opportunity to meet Dennis at the Gabelli conference, let us know. We'll be making the information on that available as well. But you're probably best known for one of the divisions of BioLargo right now, which in the recent past has been a little bit troubled.
Yeah.
Uh, and that is your Pooph product. A lot of us have seen the guy on TV spraying the
Yeah.
pet odor removal thing in his mouth and talking about how safe it is. It's really done well in the public consciousness and the marketplace, but unfortunately, you've had issues with your distributor.
Yeah, so what's happened there, yeah, it is disappointing for sure. So what's happened there is remember way back we developed a series of products, okay? And so but we hadn't really focused on the distribution and branding and all the things that necessary to build a consumer awareness in the marketplace. So we partnered up with a little company called Ikigai Marketing Works, and they said we think we can take it really big, let's make a deal. So we made a deal. And in that deal, we don't control branding and we do all the distribution. We're the supply chain and we're a technology provider. And so that's how it started. And they achieved some dramatic growth. And then as we came into the first quarter, a couple things happened. Our receivables climbed and our cash position decreased. And we're like, okay, what's up? And so that puts us in a spot where we're like, okay, we got to get paid. I mean, it's really what happens. And so a lot of push and pull went on. So we entered into, you'll see it in our financial statements, open disclosure. So we shored up our capital. That puts a little pressure on our stock. Had to make sure we had capital to deal with that issue, which we've done successfully, right? So the good news is we're in a great shape financially, even with a troubled asset. And so then we've gone back and said to our partner there, we're happy to support you. We're not a bank. We're happy to extend credit, but right. So we kind of work through all that. And so we're cautious about predicting the future there because we don't control it.
Right.
What we control is what we do. We don't control what they do. So, as we say, we're hoping for the best. We're staying the course. Um, and I wish it was better and faster and easier, but we're watching a decline that's pretty dramatic. So we'll see how it goes. But the thing to remember is that the technology that's allowed for these dramatic claims to find a home are ours.
Yeah.
It's our technology. It's our claims, and our technology enable those claims. So, in the long run, I'm sure we'll find a way to make something good out of it all.
Well, and worst case scenario, this is not a headache or a delay that you want to have to deal with, I'm sure, Dennis, but worst case, if these guys really fall on their face and you've got to pull the plug, which will involve litigation, other stuff, it's still your technology, still your product, and you find somebody more capable that pays you on time down the
Yeah.
road.
Yeah, that's right. And they, in this structure, they own the brand. So that's the negative part. We
Right.
own the technology, right? And they've built a really good brand. So the big awareness. But brand requires great technology and performance. So anyway, we're hopeful. Again, we wish everyone the best, but we have a duty, and our duty is to make sure that we protect our interests. So
Sure.
we'll see
Sure.
how it goes. So stay tuned on that one.
Okay. Moving on, a couple of upbeat things, other divisions of BioLargo to end this particular discussion on. Salinity, of course, your breakthrough battery technology. You've had some great accomplishments. You and I did an update on that not that long ago. I'll have a link to that
Sure.
for folks that want to go back and look. And I'll be visiting. I didn't get to do it driving up to the upper Midwest this time, but I will be stopping by Oak Ridge. It's probably the second week in October on my way back home
Yeah.
and visit the
Well, I
facility
can
down
do a
there.
fast forward update if you like. How's
Yeah,
that?
please.
Yeah. So remember, this is a salt, a molten salt battery. It's a hot
Yeah,
salt battery. We call it liquid sodium. It's there's nothing like it in the market. So it's a distant cousin to sodium sulfur, but it's not sodium sulfur.
right.
Okay. But it looks like a sodium sulfur because it's got heat and it runs at 200 C. But the punchline to that is the technology has this incredible fit in the world for long duration storage, which is the number one
Yeah,
growing fastest market in the energy space anywhere in the world, expected to grow to 3 or 4 trillion in the next 15 years. Why? Well, because of AI infrastructure, artificial intelligence, data infrastructure like data centers. So if you listen to all the tech guys and you say, what's up in their world? They say the same thing. If I can get the energy, I'll meet my target because the grid can't keep up. Okay. So what's the grid? Well, that's a source of energy and storage.
yeah.
So there's all these things going on in the world. So we looked at that market and said we should sell battery factories, not sell batteries. Okay, you have to think about that a minute. It's a different twist. It's kind of like Broadcom on steroids. Okay, what we're
Yeah,
doing is we're leveraging technology into ventures. Why? Well, a couple things. One is it allows us to unify brand, scale globally, global, global scale. Okay, now we're not saying I hope I get a factory. We're saying I hope I get 50. I mean,
yeah,
understand what I'm talking about. Okay, this is big business. And you're talking about battery systems that are those 20-foot trailers that stack up. So if you got a solar field, you got 1 to 2 times the energy storage necessary to support that solar field. Offloading renewable energy, even nuclear.
yeah.
Battery storage is going to be everywhere. Data centers,
Right.
that's 24/7 real time. You can also arbitrage the cost of energy and the delivery of energy. There's a spread. In order to have the spread, you have to have storage.
Yep.
Okay, so storage is a big deal, all right? And we got a winner. Now we just finished a third-party validation. And the other thing we've talked about openly is we've got 4 MOUs representing about 11 factories. We got a lot more coming. Now, we're not going to do all 11. There's work to do, so I want to make sure people don't just run off and say, "Oh, 11 factories tomorrow." No, that's not going to happen. What's going to happen is all of those require a financing component. And so what we've done is we've turned a tech play into an infrastructure project finance play. Okay. And so the idea is when we go to the marketplace, we have a business model that gives more than we receive. It's a share the wealth strategy.
Right.
Okay? So why do people want to do business with us? Hello, $1 trillion market, better battery, share the wealth.
Yeah.
That's
And
it.
again, it's that same Ray Kroc franchise type of mentality. You can't build them all and run them all,
You
but
can't.
you laid the foundation and have the technology and the product and the IP and all of that. And
Yeah.
now it's available for a world that needs. I mean, I was just the week before this past one. I was speaking at the U 2025 conference, the Global Uranium Symposium out in Casper, Wyoming. And of course, that's an industry that's very excited right now with the tailwind it has policy wise and the demand for energy. And as you alluded to just a minute ago, Dennis, even in that context, even for a nuclear plant, you still have facilities that are going to need some storage. That's going to be
No
part
question.
of the component of their energy infrastructure. And you know, we've all seen over the years how you've had this acceleration in global energy demand. If anything, it's accelerating at a faster clip now.
It is. And so we're in a just incredibly wonderful spot.
Yeah,
And I think actually this is one of be will be the asset that the company will be known for. I mean,
yeah,
and they're all great. Clear is probably going to spin out faster. The battery tech's going to go through dramatic expansion and growth. And so we got to get the first factory under contract. So we go from MOU to firm contract to deposit. Okay. Deposit means we start getting paid.
right.
Right. And that's the business model. We get paid to actually supervise, engineer, requisition materials, train, start up, and build a factory that goes live. We get paid that. That means that the CapEx for the JV is in large part our revenue.
Nice.
It's a very right. And so, we had a strategic. I spent a couple of 2 hours with just like a week ago. Big boy. And they go, love the model. I said, it's a global scale. They go, oh yeah, it's a lot of work. I said, well, of course it's a lot of work. And remember, our thesis is the same. We always say, if you want the prize, you got to do the work. There's no shortcut. Are you willing to do the work? Yeah. Let's go build a factory. Okay. So what's missing? Technology. You got to get the capital. You got to make sure the capital situation squares away. So you've got a financed project. Now, here's the beauty in that model. If you focus on impact, workforce development, high-tech job creation, net export, high-tech manufacturing, okay, batteries for energy storage, you're creating an economic engine. Guess who wants you? A lot of people want you.
Yeah.
Right. Economic development people, states, federal governments, sovereign wealth, energy players, people that want the batteries. There's this menu of people that say, wait a minute, you're telling me you're going to put me in the battery business? I'm like, how many battery factories would you like? I mean, it's really right. It's a really different way to approach the market. And I think in the long run, better.
Yeah.
If you look at most of the companies that are in that space, they've burned through just massive sums of capital.
Oh yeah, I've seen several stories like that.
And then what happens is capital markets chew them up. Why?
Yep.
Well, because it takes a little longer than they thought, and it's really difficult. And while they're building out tech, they're trying to get offtake, and offtake doesn't match because there's a chicken and an egg thing going on. And we go, look, I got it, I got it, I got it. So it starts with great tech that's scalable, and that's part of our thesis. We got great engineers,
Mhm.
great scientists doing this work. And so we present credibility. We also just published a third-party validation just, I don't know,
Right.
5 weeks ago. It's all on the web. You can go to BioLargo Energy, but we're in this one to now form these partnerships, focus on high impact, giving more than we're taking, and then doing great business to get to the finish line of making money. And these factories are going to make a lot of money. And
Yeah.
so we say to the market, I don't need all the money. I just need what we need. How would you like to have the prize of all the money? See, and people go, "What? I can actually be in?" And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah." And by the way, we can hire 1,000 people. Oh, we're going to employ 1,000 people. You know what people will do to get you to come to their country? Employ 1,000 people in a high-tech manufacturing
There
job.
you go.
Okay,
There you go.
that's what we're
Well,
doing.
last but not least, you alluded to it a minute ago, Dennis. I want to wrap up with Clyra.
Oh yeah,
This is a division that you've got that has the potential to really put the whole poof headache that you've had in the rearview mirror. You can have infinitely greater revenue than the best days of poof so
yep.
far. So where are we at there?
It's such an exciting thing. This is the culmination of about almost 14 years of investment, over 20 years of ideas. Once we finally organized some capital, very high risk capital, daunting barrier, and the technology represents a technical breakthrough for infection control and helping heal wounds. Okay, wound care and infection control. Infection control implies the surgical suite, right? So we're talking about a product that goes in and on the body and provides antimicrobial support. Does no harm. Gentle, gentle, gentle. We've got evidence to support its use to help disrupt biofilm. Biofilm is a big deal. That's where bugs mutate and they create a mucosal membrane that protects them from outside forces so they can expand. And we want to shrink them, right? We want to break the biofilm to eliminate these bugs. Okay. And no harm, no local sensitivity, no systemic toxicity. When you put those claims together, you say, okay, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. In and on the body, broad spectrum efficacy, biofilm efficacy, and no harm. You show me one that does that. See, that's number one. That combination is number one. Now, this is an idea that's been over 20 years in the making. It was the origin story of our company. And so we're finally here. And it took a lot of time and a lot of money, a lot of barrier busting. Okay. Regulatory barrier, competitive barrier. And so, again, back to our thesis of capital conserving strategy, we need to work the spread between manufacturing and distribution, and then find distributors who care, want to do something great, change the world, make some money, see distribution. So we found that. So we've got a big partnership that has been executed upon. We are under NDA, and our commitment under that arrangement is to not disclose the names until we're actually launching product. So we're coming in on the launching of product. And that's taken them almost 2 years, by the way. It's a lot of, and what they said to us is, we'll do this if you can scale to 1 million units a year, two products, 1 million units a year. That's a lot of product. So we had to build manufacturing. We partnered with Keystone Industries out of New Jersey. They've been great. We've got all the bugs worked out on the line. It's a new line. It's a big production facility. It's expensive, and it's going to go live. Then we've done regulatory. We're already cleared under FDA. 510(k) clearance, already done. Now we've adjudicated internally and third party our claims. Now you have labeling, right? So you got to finish that. We also have key opinion leaders that are extraordinary. About a year, a little over a year ago, the head of wound care, Stephen Cavros, Kavros, Stephen Cavros, joined us as chief medical officer, head of wound care and vascular care, 22 years at Mayo Clinic. Okay. And so we've surrounded the business with people that have been doing this thing forever. So head of wound care, Johnson Johnson, CEO is on our board. Okay. Head of licensing, contracting, senior vice president, legal for governance with Edwards Life Sciences on our board. Okay. And key opinion leaders are stacking up now that are the leaders in the field. A key opinion leader is someone who's a thought leader as a clinician in a highly technical market. And these products, the way they go to market, people talk about, oh, we're going to market. Here's the way it really works. Physicians do the work, and physicians tell other physicians. That's how it works. That's called a key opinion leader. So you want to get it into clinical setting. They got to play with it. They got to use it. They got to do the data. They got to then testify about their experience. That's how the tide shifts. And that's what we're doing. It's very exciting. And I think, I said the other day in an interview, the Clyra business we believe will catapult to a valuation easily north of $500 million. Okay. Now we got about a $60 million market cap. Okay. BioLargo owns half. We got a royalty with Clyra, our company we founded and now have all these partners in, which is awesome. And so that one asset, I would argue, is worth 5 to 10 times our current market cap, just so you
Right.
get perspective. Now we have to do it. That's the challenge. You have to do it. You can't just talk about it. You can't sell the blue sky of the story. This world says, show me, show me, show me. I got it. You know what? We're just going to show everybody. That's what we're doing. And that's one of the reasons that we just are undaunted. People go, my gosh, I've never seen a company so resilient. I'm like, are you kidding me? We're on a mission, man. We got the real deal for the real problem and a solution with the right partners and great tech, highly qualified people on a mission to do something important, and we don't burn capital.
Yeah.
That's our business. Clear is going to be one of the shining stars of ROI and impact. It's
Yeah.
going to do something dramatic for the world to heal people. Say, of all these assets, which one's the most important? I said, saving lives is probably the most important thing you can do.
Well, in near term, that's the one that's going to really give you a boost to revenue too, that has flagged a bit with your problems with Ikigai of late. And that'll make everybody, I think, forget that in short order. So I know
No,
you don't have a tricked out DeLorean with a flux capacitor. I'm always looking for that myself. I can't find Doc Brown to borrow his, so I don't know what the future holds, but pretty much as you alluded to, all the regulatory things is done, all the setup are done. I know part of the delays with Clyra along the way was you had 1 minute you got this tweak to the assembly line, then you've got to make this tweak to the way it's going to be packaged, and so you got to do another tweak to the assembly line. But as
every
far
one
as
of
you
those
know, what's that?
every one of those little tweaks is extraordinarily expensive. I
It's
mean, I
expensive and it takes
talk about,
time.
yeah, you
Yeah.
got to spend real money. And
So
the good
you're pretty well, as far as you know, unless something comes out of left field, you're pretty well done with
No,
it.
we're in a great shop. No, we're in a great spot. We're still checking boxes, but they're not in the lingo of the industry. Here's the way you would say it.
Okay.
None of the things that we're doing now are in the critical pathway.
Okay. Got right.
Critical pathway is, oh, I hope we make it through. It's a make it or break it moment. We don't have any of those
Right.
like that.
Good.
Now it's get it together, be ready at the highest level possible for the highest just caliber distributor in the world to go out and
Yeah.
make change. Okay. And so that's a very high bar. And most companies won't take it on. And we did. We said, no, we can do this. And we have. And congratulations to Clyra. That's a tribute to Steve Harrison, the CEO there, and his team, which is extraordinary. And look at the website. People don't. They look at BioLargo and they don't peel
Yeah.
the onion. Peel the onion at Clyra Medical.
Right.
Okay. Look at the team. Look at the caliber of people. Look, it's extraordinary. And what's happening now is the people that do watch Clyra, they call and say, "Oh my gosh, this is awesome." And I'm like, "Yeah." And you know what happens for BioLargo? And again, I'm not being critical. I buy stocks too, and you want to walk at the ticker and you don't want to peel the onion. Okay, I got it. We get the same thing. Well, the stock's down today. I'm like, have you read what we're saying? I mean, holy shamoly. But they don't. They need nanosecond view, really quick, small market. And so what happens is people that then look at the portfolio, they go, well, Clyra's worth, I don't know, 4 or 5 times the whole company. I'm like, you think? I think it is too. And
Right.
so eventually the world will figure that out. And that's part of our challenge is to get that story out. But
Sure.
here's the thing, regardless of whether the story is people buy it or don't buy it, we're just going to show up with a lot of results, and everybody's going to go, "Hey, they weren't so full of it as I thought they were."
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that's exactly right. We've been doing something worthy,
Yeah.
worthy of a career, worthy of investment, and it's really high importance for the world. So I'm very excited about Clyra.
Well, and I'm looking forward, my household is a shareholder, of course, of BioLargo. We're all waiting expectantly for the news to come out that product sales have commenced with your partner. And if we don't have a reason to do it before then, we'll have you back when that news comes out. So
Yeah, of course, of
Dennis,
course.
thanks for the information and update and everything. And folks, again, when it comes to the Gabelli Conference coming up in New York, we'll have a link to that and to a lot of the other things that we've touched on, along with the notes to the video. Let Dennis or myself know, and we'll get you in the door there. So, Dennis, thanks much. Safe travels, and hope to see you in person shortly again.
Awesome, Chris. Thanks.
Take care.
For much more of the National Investor's cutting edge content and actionable investment opportunities, make sure to subscribe to Chris's free content at nationalinvestor.com. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel too. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.